So, so I'm gonna start lightly until kind of everyone kind of joins in. Um, let me tell me if you have any questions, and this is going to be a little bit more of like a workshop as opposed to like a class. And I'm going to be walking through what is what's going on in the book itself. I hope that everyone on the call has it, and if not, you should definitely get it. Yeah, definitely. It's the new version. It's it's the new version. Thank God it came out, and it's been a really good tool. I know for myself, I use it extensively. I use it every day actually, and um, that's been a big core of success. And I'll discuss a little bit of like how I got to it and why it's there, and you know, welcome Rebecca as well. She's been a big part of it and helping it succeed. So that's kind of been a focus. We had a weekend in Montreal, which was really beautiful. People came from all over. Um, some people who made trouble, like Jason, who's on the call. So that was kind of a thing. But and it was revolving around that the concept of the MSBR and the book itself. It's very opportune, very opportune. Can someone just text on the Sunday class that we're starting, the Sunday chat? Just check text that we're starting. Um, for those that aren't on that chat, we have a chat that Bezrat Hashem after the summer and we start the year, we'll having more consecutive classes. It's a Sunday chat, it's called. We'll post the link here. So the question is like this: we're heading into Elul, and we're heading into Elul, and Elul is really a time where it's a time of opportunity from so many different perspectives. Uh, the bigger picture is obviously Rosh Hashanah, Selichot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchat Torah, and we don't want to just float through the holidays, as we don't want to just float through life, which is a key point. And one of the things I've noticed, and this is one of the reasons I created this journal, is people have a really difficult time harnessing the different aspects of all the beautiful things that are going on in their life. Okay. So now add into that the fact that we have the Chagim coming up, which is we really want to prepare for it. So it's so many of us kind of show up to a holiday of Rosh Hashanah, of Yom Kippur, and so on, just kind of showing up, with new clothing, but we're not really focused from a spiritual perspective or from a growth perspective and so on. So that's why I just chose to have the class today. I was also nudged into it by Rebecca, but we won't talk about that. And the idea is to be able to prepare for on this specifically. The idea is to prepare for the Chagim. So I'm gonna give a mashal. All right. Now let's look at it this way. What's the boiling point? What's the boiling point of water? All right. The boiling point of water is around 200 Fahrenheit. Okay. Now, what happens if, let's say it's 200 Fahrenheit, and let's say that takes, just say you fill up a nice big bowl, and it takes about 10 minutes to boil. What happens if you boil the water for 5 minutes, leave it for 10, and it cools down, and then you boil it for another 5 minutes? What happens is that at that point, does the water become boiling? Does the water boil? If to boil water takes 10 minutes at 200, to get it to 200 Celsius or Fahrenheit, right? Does the water, and you turn it on for 200 Fahrenheit, you turn it on for 5 minutes, and then you shut it down, and then you turn it for another 5 minutes, and each time it gets to 100, and you say, hey, 100 plus 100 is 200, that should get me enough. So it doesn't work, because to get water to boil is not enough just that you have accomplished the amount of degrees. It's not enough to get it to 200 Fahrenheit, but it has to be consecutive. And consecutive and commitment is a very big part of success. It's a very big part of us attaining what we want to do from many different aspects. There's nothing in life that's worth doing and worth being that we achieve without consecutiveness. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not enough to just do something, but it has to be done consecutively. And we find that idea in the Torah as well. Okay, now we've spoken about this many different times. Like the world was created in 7 days when really God could have created it in an instant. Okay, could have put all the material into a microwave or however it worked and just had the entirety of the world being created in an instant. But Hashem chose not to do that. He chose to do it day after day after day after day until Shabbat. And then, the world evolved and so on and so forth. There's even a theory, just so you should know. A lot of people say, well, how does the world work with the Big Bang theory? Because there's proof of the world being created in a bang and residue and so on. The Torah doesn't say that. In fact, the Torah doesn't say that the world was created in an instant. The Torah says that the world was created as a process. There was a process in the creation of the world. Time only started later on in the week with the solar system and so on. We don't know how long 7 days is from a Torah perspective. It wasn't 24 hours because there was no day. There was no sun revolving around the earth. Earth revolving around the sun, right? So the entirety of the creation of the world actually fits with the Big Bang theory, with the idea of the world being created in a process, in a journey. Okay, and the message behind that is, why did Hashem create the world that way? Is individualized towards us. Everything that we want to do, this is the recipe. And if you have your journal in front of you, or if you just have some room for notes, we want to talk about commitment, which is like, commitment is like kryptonite to Superman. Superman is like the one thing that weakened him was this stone called kryptonite, which just like drew away all his powers. Commitment is like the fear of the generation. Every time we have an event, everyone signs up last minute. Why can't you commit? Because you're so scared of being locked in to something, being blocked. We're so used to the world of endless opportunity, of endless possibility. Boys have a hard time, girls have a hard time. It carries over into work, it carries over into dating. People sabotage their dating because they're scared to commit, fear of success, so many different aspects of subconscious fear of success, and that you kind of sabotage your own commitment. So one thing is commitment, the capability to commit, and consistency. If you're gonna get anywhere in anything, and feel free to share with me anything that is worthwhile that you can get and attain without consistency and commitment. There's nothing like that. Our marriages, our raising our children, our work, our self-image, our body, our whatever it is you want, wherever it is you want to go, learning, it's all commitment. You go to college, you study, it's commitment and consistency. So this book, right, this journal, it's not enough. You have to be ready to commit to one thing. Okay, and what's the commitment to? What is the commitment of this journal? The commitment is really to one thing, and that's to yourself. You can't lie to yourself in this form of a journal. You just can't, because the way that it's set up, and we'll go into it and I'll take questions and all of that, the way that it's set up is constantly being truthful to yourself, constantly setting goals, and constantly evaluating. So when you're true to yourself, you set goals and you evaluate, you can't, there's no wiggle room with that. And sometimes it's a very difficult place to be. All right. It's a very difficult place to be. We would like, we kind of, somebody should mute their phone. Sorry, I'll mute it. So it's a very difficult place to be. But that's how you accomplish anything within yourself. Okay. So that's the idea. Pre Rosh Hashanah, pre Yom Kippur, pre Sukkot Simchat Torah. We're just starting the month of Elul. If we have a commitment to ourselves, okay, for 40 days, this is a 90-day process, but for 40 days, I guarantee you, money back guarantee, all right, money back goes far to guarantee that you will be on another level in terms of your life. Okay, I won't say you'll reach the goal, because 40 days in the matter of 120 years is nothing in terms of a process, but I have no question about it. So is that clear? Is that point, like, is that direction clear? Yeah, that direction clear. All right, so I want to take, how many of you have the actual journal in front of you? How many of you who has it in front of them? You have it in front of you?
I have it.
Okay, great. Esther, you don't have it. Why don't you have it?
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
How do you kick someone off a call? Let me just check. Hold on. Kick someone. I don't have that feature here. Okay, whatever. But you have to have it. You have to get it. All right. I'll start by like throw some questions to me, and then I have a process of how I'll get into it. All right. From those that have experience, like, just throw out some questions and I'll help you kind of walk through it to clarify what it's about. All right. Feel free. Like, what questions would you have on journal itself? Just what the pages mean. A lot of people have a hard time with, like, I mean, I don't think it's that complicated, but it is. Like, what do the pages actually mean? Here, I'll share the screen so I can walk you through it. If you go to page, like, it's based on four pillars: M, S, B, R. Okay, and you see it right here in the book. Okay, MSBR. Okay, and the MSBR, if you flip through it a little bit, is mind, soul, body, relationships. Those are the four pillars that essentially anything that you want to achieve in life can be placed in there. I made them broad and not specific, so you can really wiggle and find your own place within it. Everything is either a tenet of your mind, okay, the way you think and educating yourself, soul. So it's either an action. If it's not your thought process, then it's an action, your soul. The reason it's called soul is because the way to affect your soul is by actions. Excuse me. B is your body or your physical world, the way you feel about your physical body, your house, your car, your clothing, your money. Those are physical. That's a physical part of your world. And then the last component is your relationships. And that's this page in front of us. Do you see this page in front of you? I don't know if am I sharing this screen with you? Do you see it?
You're sharing.
Do you see it? You do see it on the screen?
Showing
Yeah.
before when I was showing you.
Oh, it's showing me. Let me see how. It says I'm screen sharing. You don't see a page 13.
I see the screen.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it, right?
I
It's like
see it
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Perfect. Jason, it's only you. Turn your Wi-Fi on, Jason. So this page on page 13 is a tool to help you build your relationships. What does that mean? There's a bunch of dots, all right, with a bunch of lines, and that is meant to, those in that list, you're supposed to write the different people you are. So for example, you are a sister, you are an aunt, you are, for boys, you're an uncle, you're a brother, you're a grandson, you're a son, you're a boss, you're a teacher, you're a student, you're a friend, you're a camp counselor. One person encompasses many people. And the goal of this journal, as I've said it, and I'll just say it again, is not perfection. It's to create, listen carefully if you're taking notes, it's to create momentum in your life that will carry you through moments of challenge. Okay? What does that mean? It means that when you create a good lifestyle, good habits, a good path, on the times that you have a challenging day, they can't last for more than a day, because you have this momentum of your life of positivity. Okay, so for example, let's say you had a toxic experience at work and you're really upset and you're really down about it. But since you have a schedule of the gym and you have the books that you're learning and you have your friends that are supportive, blah, 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 then all of a sudden that toxic experience at whatever it might be is very limited. Do you understand? That's a key point. Like we want to create, sorry, somebody's mute your phone, guys. We want to create a world of positivity. The Torah doesn't want perfection. That's why we have Yom Kippur every year, because we had a year that might have done things that aren't successful. So on page 13, right? This is the relationships part. But the Torah doesn't ask for perfection. If the Torah asked for perfection, none of us would be here. None of society would be here. We wouldn't last one year. The Torah asks for you to create the demand from Hashem is that we I don't want to say fight because it's very harsh, but we strive towards creating a lifestyle of goodness and strength. Does that make sense? Do you understand? Do we understand the difference? Perfection is like asking for black and white for those of us that are black and white, okay, which I've worked on a lot with my students. That's perfection. Like if I'm not, okay, I'll give you an example. I literally woke up today at 5:30. Okay, it is right now like 11 and I'm running an hour behind. And it's not because I didn't wake up early enough. It's just because it's not, you just can't get your day perfect. So if you're the type that like are black and white and want perfection, everything can throw you off. But if you're the type of person that is striving for perfection, is striving for greatness, but knows how to perform in the world of gray, of obscurity, because that's the way life is, then you're able to harness everything in your life and move forward. So page 13 that you see in front of you, you should see in front of you, is where you sit and you list all the different people that you are and all the different relationships that you want to work on. You want to make sure you're spending, giving enough time to your mom, to your sister, to your dad, to whatever it might be. If there's somebody toxic in your life, so you might not be able to, the idea might be, as we've said before, how to create boundaries, emotional boundaries, mental boundaries, and so on. So that's going to go on this page 13. All right, you have a bunch of lines. So there's whatever it is, I don't know, there's like 20 lines, about 20 lines. All right. And what you're going to do is whenever you get to the R in relationships, you kind of turn back to page 13 and say, I think I see on my list that I wanted to give more positive time to this person, or I see on my list that I haven't really worked on setting correct boundaries with this person. It's kind of a reference. All right. Again, you're taking your entire life from a relationships perspective and you are putting it into place. Any questions, guys?
I have one. How do you set the proper boundaries? Like, especially when you're living with toxic people, how do you set boundaries?
So I would say I'll get into it in like in a short version. The toxic boundaries and so on and so forth, setting boundaries for toxic people, the starting point is usually a version of self-esteem and self-value, because the idea of like, hey, you can't talk to me like that has to start from a me, right? The Torah says, where do we know that you have to love yourself?
Well, I do that, it doesn't help.
Well, I'm not going to get into it specifically.
Oh, okay.
That's like, but just like as a general perspective, just because it's a general class, but
Right.
but like, the Torah says v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, and you have to love your neighbor like you love yourself. So from there we discover the whole point, which is self-evident, but we see it in the Torah. Like, yes, I have to love my neighbor as I love myself. And you have to really go on that journey because both teach each other. the way that you care for your friend who's in a challenging time, right? Your friend is going through a challenging time and you sit there by their side and you're super positive in their moments of challenge is the exact way relationship we should have with ourselves. And once we start with that, then all of a sudden, there's the standard that we could set for others. And we might not be able to remove people from our vicinity physically, but mentally, right, as we've said numerous times, there's no one that can hurt your feelings without your permission. Okay, so that's kind of like just a quick word on that. All right, let's go on.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
So like, let's say, as an example, you're running behind an hour, which happens to like a lot of us. Like, what do you tell yourself throughout the whole day to kind of keep you calm and not anxious? It's really nice to hear that, like, even, a rabbi like you's running behind, because I'm like, oh, it just happens to weak people. And then
Right.
we get very
Losers.
down on ourselves.
Right. So I'll tell you like this, like, let's differentiate like this in terms of like time. Okay. I think that like when it comes to time and running late and so on and so forth, it really depends what stage you are. Meaning, when I say running late, just to give you an idea, my morning 5:30, wake up, whatever, 6:30, gym, 7:30, learn, pray, whatever it is, 9, 10 o'clock conference call, Zoom conference call with the seminary I teach in Israel with the entire staff, knowing that there's an 11 o'clock class, there's just that. And I show up like 5 minutes late for the class. So it really depends on where you are. Like if you have a lifestyle of running late, is very different than if you having a day of running late. Two different things. Okay, there are certain people that have a lifestyle of running late. I think within reason that's not acceptable. So then that's where the journal gets you going. It's like, okay, I see that I'm constantly late to meetings, to events, to whatever it might be. Then something in my mindset or preparation, usually I always like to set double as much time to show up to the place of that I need to be. Then I need to be there. If I need to be there at 9, it takes half an hour. I'll make sure I'm leave an hour early or something to that extent. So it really depends on the lifestyle is what I'm saying. If you are working on your lifestyle and you're the type of person that generally within reason shows up on time and you're having a late day, right? That's where we said, like, okay, I'm trying my best. Hashem literally runs the world. I am not going to beat myself up for this because that won't get anyone anywhere. Definitely not wherever it is supposed to be next in the next 15 minutes. So it's really twofold. One is trying to become that on-time type of person and learning to commit. And once you're doing that, then it happens the off day, then it's okay. You can cut myself slack and have that self-love to be able to be positive. That's where you're not striving for perfection. All right. So you'll read through the first part of the book. I'm kind of like, you'll read through the first part of the book. On chapter 3, we're talking about this idea of, really simplifying in your mind what you're heading towards. The first page, the first part is going to be a journal where you're just going to express yourself, especially in the beginning. For those of us that are not used to journaling, how do you go about it? So the idea is very simple. Like you're kind of just talking to yourself in writing. Like you might be saying something to the extent of, I don't know what I'm supposed to write. Okay, that's a great way to okay, that's what you should write. I-don't, not know how to journal. You're developing the connection between your mind and your pen. You're starting to develop that expression. So you're just expressing yourself. Eventually, this is not just a regular journal, right? You're setting goals in each one of the 4 platforms. So mind, I don't know what I should do in mind. I think I would like to work on consistency. How can I do it? HOWCANDO, how can I do that? I should read some books or some podcasts or hold myself accountable on consistency. Set a goal. M, show up on time or 15 minutes early to work. That's where you set a goal. Then we'll see soon, you'll take action in the next part. All right. You'll set it into stone. After you've done that, it's not enough. You can then go back and evaluate, how am I doing with my goals? This is, you know, I give this class sometimes, and I give it in certain places, and I notice that sometimes people don't connect. It's a real work manual for yourself. It's not a fun read. It's not like a feel good, inspirational, I'm on a high type of process or book. It's a real like journey. You know, that's really the only way to put it. All right, let me go through. Now what I want to do is I want to go through, oh, there's questions on the chat. Oh, what does MSBR stand? Oh, mind, soul, body relationships. Okay, great. You guys are answering it there. Okay, hold on. Let me get to the next section that I want to talk about. Let me get to this. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about just like how to set goals. All right, just give a quick word on that. So you see in front of you the idea of how to set goals. It's called in page 27, it's called the SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay? Specific goals, like what am I going to do? Why is this important to me? You can journal about this. Measurable, how will I measure my success? How will I know when I've achieved my goal? For example, if you say in one of your goals, I want to be good. Okay, that's great, but like, what does that mean? Iron out in your brain, like, what does that mean? What's a measurable goal? I want to say hello to people that I don't normally say hello to this week. Okay, that's a measurable goal. Someone I don't know, I should say hello. Okay, great. Achievable. What will I do to achieve this goal? How will I accomplish it? You can't, you know, remember, we're trying to create momentum, consistency. So the idea for goal setting is just kind of like going a little bit out of your comfort zone, you know, just like grabbing, you know, if it's too far from you, if it's too far, then it's not achievable. If you can kind of get your finger on it, we just have to wait for the right moment, that's achievable. Relevant. Is this goal worthwhile? How will I achieve it? How will achieving it help me? Does this goal fit my values? Is it relevant to me? Somebody on this call might say, I want to work on Lashon Hara. You don't talk. Like, you never talk. You have no friends. You know, so like, why do you want to work on Lashon Hara? You get what I'm saying? Like, we choose these things that are like quick fix. No, go into your core, in your mind. How do I want to strengthen a relevant thought to me? And like I said, it's sometimes a difficult and scary place to be, because you might say, I want to work on self-esteem, self-confidence, you know, whatever it might be. That's relevant to me. Like, I don't have to work on being the center of attention. I'm doing good with that one. Like, I've got that one covered. I have something relevant. Time bound. Like I said, just to say a general goal that doesn't have a beginning or an end. When will I accomplish my goal? How long will I give myself? This week, right? It's each one of these, you know, the journal is separated into 12 weeks. Each week is time bound. So when you journal and you discover a goal, does it have a beginning to an end? Can you check it off and say, I made it, I did it? It's so important to, on the one hand, have transparency with yourself, but on the other hand, be able to look back and say, wow, I did it. I set my mind to these things and they have a check next to them. I'm getting on a wave of positivity. Okay. All right. Amazing. Let's go on. I'll get into, you can keep reading it. I'm not going to read it. You have it in front of you, but I'll start going into the book itself. All right. So each week starts with this. You have a date. Okay. You have a date, 90-day MSBR journal, first week. The next part is you have 3 pages of just journal time. So you would start with, the way I would suggest it is you guys see the arrow? You start with Sunday, September 9th or 8th. Ooh, I don't know what just happened there. Somehow that happened. I don't know what just happened there. So, I could write on it. Oh, okay, got you. All right, I didn't know that. Sorry, that was a mistake. That just worked for our benefit. Amazing. So I would write like Sunday, right? All right. Sorry, that's gonna have to suffice. I would write the day of the week, and then I would write the date, and then I would, let me see if I can text it. I would write Sunday and the day of the week, and I would write some, if you could, I would try and do like something significant, like in this place, this shop, in this city, or whatever it might be, and you start journaling. Start journaling. If and the beginning of a journal is always a little difficult because your mind and pen are not connected. So you just ask yourself questions and talk. Eventually, and try and use up the space. Don't like skip a ton of lines type of thing. You know, use up the space. Learn to use every line of the journal. You'll write an M, and you'll say, sorry, this is obviously not the way it's supposed to look, but I'm doing my best while talking and typing. M for mind. I want to work on, give me an example, guys, of something that of the mind that we would want to work on.
Like self-control, maybe.
Yeah, self-control. Good. Give me some other examples.
Reading.
Reading. Yes, I want to learn this. Yeah, I want to learn. Reading is a great one. What else? Someone else said something else?
I was gonna say reading like a specific book
Yes, reading a specific
that
book.
works on Amidot.
Yeah, you should always, my advice to you, you should always be in the middle of a book your entire life. I don't think the idea is to read 1,000 books, because I don't see how 1,000 books I can like internalize. But every year you should be going through a few good key books that are, so what is my mind? What am I working on? Okay, I want to work on consistency, commitment. Okay, this book is good for me. Okay, when are you doing that? When is the right time for you to read? All right, now there might be the positive side, and it might be removal of negative. Every growth process has three: identify, remove, proactive. So for example, maybe at night or during the day or whatever it might be, you're scrolling endlessly on your Instagram. Delete your Instagram off your phone. I didn't say delete your account. Delete it off your phone. Put it on your computer. Instead of reading Instagram or watching whatever, I'll pick up a book and read at a specific time. All right. Then you'll do the same thing with S. All right. The S will be, let's say, sorry about the right, it'll be so, and it will be less, sorry about this, social media. Okay, it'll be so less social media, and you'll write about that. And you know what? You're headed towards Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. I think it's bite size. Like, say, give yourself 2 weeks and say, for 2 weeks, I'm not gonna have social media on my phone. Clear up that space in your mind. Okay, then you'll go into, B, body. I'll wake up early. I'll go to sleep early. I'll eat better. I'll go to the gym. I'll fix my room. Clutter. Clutter in the room is clutter in the mind. Okay, so that might be your B.
Is that really true? Clutter in the room, clutter in
Yes.
the mind?
Yes, very much. Yes.
Why?
Because clarity, like you'll see like brilliant people who are like, they've like, you go into their room or whatever it might be, and like everything's all over the place, because it's not always a negative thing, because in many times they think on that like esoteric place. You can really identify a person by the way their materialistic world is. Like, for example, somebody that might be like a little bit more, super structured, accountant type of personality, you'll notice their desk, or their email is like everything's cleared up. They're all answered and things like that. But then you'll have somebody who's a little bit more, I don't know what the right word to use is, but a little bit more open,
Creative.
yeah, creative or something like that. There's like 70,000 unanswered emails. They like look through for the sweater. Doesn't mean it's bad, but definitely it's a reflection of how the mind thinks. So sometimes when we want to get our mind in check, and it's hard to just say, I'm just going to start thinking simply, start simplifying things in your life. Even something so simple as where you park your car when you go pray in the morning, right, is a simplification of your mind. So for example, I'm in Los Angeles right now and I'm praying in a shul. Right next to the shul, there's a parking lot. So I could either drive around every morning for 20 minutes and looking for a spot, or I could just go into the parking lot, pay the $1 per hour and park. But now I've removed that complication from my life. I've simplified it. If minyan starts at 8 o'clock, I can show up 7:45. I have a parking spot. I go straight into shul. I pray. I can learn. It's consistency. It's simplicity. It's organization. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense, Tira? You understand? Like our surroundings and the way our physical world is built, it has an effect on our mental space as well. It doesn't.
Yeah, but you could be organized like with everything else. Like, I don't know. I know sometimes I prefer places where there's more noise to work in it. It's easier for me to like focus on writing or anything else. Like,
right. It doesn't mean you have to live your whole life like that. Meaning, like, there is room for no organization in your life. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to get into like a simplicity, organized mindset, and you're like, okay, how do I get into this? Sometimes organizing your physical space will start that momentum.
Is this something that like Hashem wants for us?
Hashem wants you to succeed. So you figure it out. If it doesn't, if you're not grappling with organization in your life or structure and all that, then let your room be. If you right now want to get into the world of structure, organization, clear thinking, you need a little more space in your mind, organize your room or whatever it might be, your desk, you know, fold your stuff nicely. Like, okay, I walk in. So Adina, like, you're right. You don't have to live that lifestyle. We're talking about someone who wants a step in. So they're looking for an angle. Okay, so that might be soul, body, relationships. Like I said, you're going to write relationships, and you could start with, you know, sorry about spelling, blah, blah, blah. You're going to write like stop relationships. And you're going to write stop being so sensitive. That might be your relationship move. I'm super simplifying it. Like, that's not how it works. I would write relationships. I notice I'm very sensitive to what, you know, everyone is saying, or blah, blah, blah. Okay. That would be what that page would kind of look like. Now, you keep going. Second. You keep going and you'll get to the next part of it, which, why did that happen? Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay. The next part is, let me just delete this. That shouldn't be. So the next part is this. Hold on. This is what happens when rabbis try to use technology. Hold on. Let me just start this fresh. The next part of the journal is the following. If you have it in front of it, you'll see. If not, it looks like that. Okay. And what that is, you'll see now, what you're doing is you're taking, as I always say, you're driving in a 6-lane highway. All right. Now you're going into a 4-lane highway. All right. You're getting a little more refined, a little simpler. This page is where you pull from your journal, and and it says mind, soul, body, relationship, path to progress. What you're going to do here is you're going to write mind, read. I need to read 7 habits. I need to learn Chumash daily. Soul. I need to, what did we say it was? What was an action that we want to do? I want to smile at people. Body. I want to clean the clutter. Relationship. I want to stop being so sensitive to this friend, what they're saying. Like, that's where kind of, you know, you've taken from the journal, you've kind of pulled from it, okay, and you've identified it more. On the side of this page, we just added something, which is just, you know, you're already working on your week. So general stuff you have to do. This is not necessarily life-changing, you know, groundbreaking work. It's more like pick up the cleaners, call my friend, put air in my tire, call a tennis teacher. I don't know, whatever it is going on in your life. It's just so that you have a place for everything to be centralized, okay? But the main part of this is the path to progress, where now this week, you're doing this like Saturday night, Sunday morning, whatever it might be, you're projecting for the week. All right. Or it might be, I don't have the book 7 Habits, or I don't have the Chumash that I want, so I need to go buy it. That might be your goal for this week. All right. Now, the next page, now you're in a 4-lane highway. That's really great that you've identified it, but this kind of corners you in. When am I doing that? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The next page is, right? So you would fill that in, and it would be Thursday, Friday, Shabbat. When am I picking up my book? When am I, if there's a friend that I'm going to see and I know that they're difficult and I see them on Wednesday at 12 o'clock, all right, 12 o'clock, get mentally prepared for this and this person.
Someone asked the question, can you please give an example of measurable?
Measurable means like a goal that, can have like a start and finish. So that's why I say, like, be good is not a measurable, when are you good and when are you not good, but call my friend is a measurable goal. I have called or you haven't called. Break the big goal into small pieces. All right. So in every realm, it's measurable. Mind, have you set aside time to meditate and be positive and tap into Hashem's endless world, or have you not? It's very measurable. Have you read that book or have you not? Actions and soul, right? Have you smiled at people or have you not? Have you spoken more Lashon Hara or have you not? Like, body, have you woken up on time? Have you gone to sleep early? Are you binging on social media or are you not? Those are very measurable goals. And the more specific, the better. So, for example, if you have a binge problem with social media and every night you spend an hour, so you literally write in the calendar, Thursday night, make sure to put my phone by the library. And I've heard every single excuse for a phone to be next to your bed. Alarm clock. I don't know. Go buy yourself an alarm clock for $3. The less we are dependent on our phones and social media and all that, the healthier and more space we create. So those are measurable. Did that answer the question well?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So on the second page of the calendar, you have my insight of the week. This is a place for you, and that's me over there staring at the rock. That's me sitting on the mountain. That's me. But this is a place for you to kind of like, write at any stage in the week, in the beginning, middle, end, just like a nice uplifting thought, hopefully that's kind of original from your own growth process. Quote, either it's a quote or something you've kind of realized, like recently I've come up with the idea that Hashem doesn't always say no, he just says not this way or not this time, something like that. It's just, I don't know, I didn't hear it anywhere. It's just kind of like just paying attention, like, oh, this is interesting. It's not now. It's just, so that's where you write an insight of the week. So now let's go back. I'll walk you through what emotionally and mentally and energy wise your week will look like. All right. You start off by getting to know yourself on the journal. You're journaling, you're connecting your mind and your pen. What you're thinking, whether you're in a place of bewilderment or you're in a place of knowledge, you're journaling. After that, you are then identifying and zoning in. What are my goals? Right? You've kind of spoken about them in the journal to yourself. Now you want to identify them clearly this week. If you want to just have a to-do list, there it is right there on your right. After you've identified them clearly, you've really cemented them in the sense of, when am I doing these things? It's going to be on a Sunday or a Monday or a Tuesday. Like, what is it going to look like? Now, you see how you're kind of really holding yourself accountable, creating positive momentum, removing negative things from your life. Imagine doing that week after week for 3 months straight. You become very refined in your own project, but this is not good enough yet. What do we need to do after we've done that? We need to check ourselves. And where does that happen? Looking at the trail behind. each one of the 4 pillars has its own place, and it's not heavy where there's like endless amount of lines to write. What was my goal? My goal was to read this book. What went well? I love reading. What didn't go well? I hate that book. Okay, how can I learn from it? I need to choose a different one. I need to allocate more time. I thought I could read it at lunch break. It doesn't really work. I need to read it before bed. I could listen while I'm working out. I don't know, something. Action. What was my goal? My goal was to speak less Lashon Hara when I'm with my friends. What went well? I was cognitive of it. Cognizant, I think it is. What didn't go well? I still am off. I still find myself speaking bad about people when I'm with my friends or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. How can I learn from it? Prepare a little bit more next time I get there. You know, body. What was my goal? To go to the gym 3 times a week. What went well? What went well? I like, you know, I like the gym. What didn't go so well? I think these days don't work for me. Sunday's not a good day. It's family day, so I'd rather sleep late because Saturday night I'm out late. You really just getting to know yourself.
What happens if something comes up and you don't manage to finish everything you had planned for like that day?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So it depends in what context. Like for example, what does that mean? Is it you did not manage to keep it up, you know, because it was just too big of a goal, or did you
No,
not?
like let's say something like something family comes up, like your parents think you like have like something they want to invite you to, or
Right,
like
last minute you have time.
last minute like appointments, like
yeah,
stuff
you're
like
scheduled
that.
for the gym. You're scheduled for the gym, and then all of a sudden your mom says, "Hey, we're all going to visit grandma. She just blah blah blah. Let's go." So that's the beauty of it. Like, you have an awareness to say, okay, I didn't go to the gym this week on Tuesday, and I know I'm scheduled for Friday. Can I do Wednesday and Thursday? Like, you're living with yourself. Your awareness. You have a place to look back. So you'll try and you'll either do it and find another place, right? And then you'll go back. What I would do is I would go back to the calendar and say, well, I was scheduled to go, if you see it in front of you, on Monday, but there was family day popped in, so I'm going to go on Wednesday, and you kind of journal that in last minute, or you skip it in totality and you say, okay, great, I'm in the zone, I'm in the positive momentum. Let's hope that next week I get it. You know, every Wednesday is family day in our house. Okay, so I'm not gonna schedule something for that. You're just, it's either you're doing it in another place or you're learning to let go. And that's great because you're on top of yourself. You're not just aimlessly, you can't get anywhere. You can't get and accomplish anything in life if you don't know where you're going. Right? If you don't have your goals and your direction lined up, then it doesn't matter how old you get. You whatever you accomplish is by chance. Do you know what I mean? You stumble upon it. But if you have your goals and your direction and your system and your path set up, then your success is on purpose. And that's a much higher probability of succeeding in life. All right. After that, what happens? Another week, another journal.
Someone asked how many goals in each pillar should there be?
I mean, look, I would say the difference is in two things. Number one is, I would say, in terms of like how many goals, where are you? If you're just starting, I would say for the first 3 weeks, like, keep it very light. All right, for the first 3 weeks, keep it very light. Things that you really like, you're almost rigging the system. I'm not gonna say like kiss the mezuzah once, but like, easy. After you're like 3 weeks into it, you can really go into it a little bit more. Sorry guys, just muting everybody. And I would suggest you can get into like 1 or 2 goals a week. Depends how much you can feel like you handle. In the beginning, start light, and then you can progress. But this is my advice to you. You can only progress to another goal if you feel comfortable and the last goal is kind of easy. If you're still struggling with the previous goal, then you can't really go on to it. If you're still if you're still, look, it's a lifetime to work on our character, right? But if you still have like very toxic view every time you meet friends, these group of friends, then, and you just move on to something else, then you got to rethink your goals. So what I would say is like, start light. If you see you're accomplishing, add a little bit, and then that's kind of the process. Eventually, each week will have, and sometimes, guess what? Sometimes from week to week, the goals won't change. I thought I could wake up, at 5:30. I thought, I'm still trying. I haven't really gotten it. I haven't really nailed it yet. So why are you moving on to something else? Go for the thing, but go for the real start. Start chipping at the real part of your character that's slowing you down. You know what I'm saying? Start going for the real stuff within yourself. So in terms of, I got a question here, like, not every goal you could do every day. I mean, you only go to the gym 3 times a week, let's just say, right? So not every goal, and you're only going to read twice a week at night. And also, for example, great way to handle it. If you binge on social media at night, it's very hard every night to stop. But if you binge on social media and say Mondays and Thursdays, my phone is not next to my bed. So you're mentally getting ready for Monday. You're mentally getting ready for Thursday. Then you knock it out of the park. Next week, you'll be like, okay, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's kind of whatever it takes to create that momentum is really the idea. All right. Any other questions, guys, on this point? I'll be happy.
I thought, and maybe I'm confused because you said it was 2 goals. From what I remember you telling us on the retreat, isn't it like 1 goal for M, 1 goal for S? And then I thought they were changing every
So
week.
look, there's no right and wrong. It's what everyone kind of has to get. So the way I would suggest starting is 1 goal for each, because the beginning, like 3 weeks, is not about success. It's about creating momentum. And the way to create momentum is to be a winner. How do you win? You rig the system. First 3 weeks, you just rig the system. Like, I make goals that are easy, not too complicated, but I just keep going. After that, you're getting to know yourself. Like, okay, I'm already reading this book, so I want to continue with that. But now I want to enter. Now that I've read it, I want to share it with my friends. So that might go together with it. Eventually you'll let go of the reading the book goal, because you're doing that for the past 3 months. I don't need to write it anymore. It's not a goal, it's a lifestyle. So you can kind of be flexible with it. I would say the beginning, like 3 weeks, are the rough ones.
And I had another question. This is just based on something I read from Atomic Habits, and I just wanted to get your insight. Do you really think it does take like 21 days to create a habit, or is it individualized? Because like I used to do intermittent fasting and now I stopped. And so last week my goal was to like try to stop eating after 7 p.m. and it was hard for me to do.
I mean, I don't have a number on it. I think
Okay.
it depends on how deeply rooted the challenge is. So for example, somebody who's been an alcoholic for 20, 30 years of his life, it'll take them probably more than 21 days, so to speak. Depends how deeply
But you know
rooted-
what I'm talking about. You've
Yeah.
heard it before.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. And really, that's why I kind of say it's not about succeeding here. It's about creating a lifestyle. And those that are looking for like an automatic success, that's not necessarily where it's going to take you. It's creating a lifestyle of accomplishment, of goal setting, of accountability, of constantly moving forward in life and being able to progress in every realm that's important to us: family, work, obviously service of Hashem, friends, all the things that are important to us in life are moving forward, and that's called the great person. Now, on a final note, I know that Alina's also on the call. They've kind of gone through this and been working with this for some time. They came up with a great accountability. I don't know what to call it, but the idea of accountability partners. And for those that are kind of scared to get into it off the bat, you contact Rebecca, and she has like a whole Google Doc and blah blah and all this stuff, right? Tell me you have a whole Google Doc. Okay, great. And you ask for a partner, and you obviously want to be a partner as well, and and you guys hold yourself accountable and say, hey, whatever it is you feel you could talk, if I don't know, to each his own. You have ideas, and if you get stuck, Rebecca has experience, and I know Alina's also on the, I think she's still on the call here. Just like about like troubleshooting, how to set up goals, how to accomplish, and so on and so forth. And to the best of my capabilities, I can help you get through that journal, but she can really help you with the accountability aspect of it. That's kind of like a cool additive that we're kind of stepping up. Eventually, I want you guys to be able to give this workshop and be able to yeah, Jason, I saw that eyebrow lift. Yeah, I want you to give it one day to a whole bunch of friends. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on what we've said?
Do you
Yes.
still journal every day?
I journal every day. Clean out yeah. Every day. Unless it's like a difficult day, then yeah. And sometimes when I don't have time to journal, I'll write, I don't have time to journal today. That's my daily journal. But at least I kept consistency. I didn't pop into the book a month later and be like, oh, I'm in a whirlwind and I can't control anything and I'm spiraling down and I can't accomplish anything. Yeah, of course. Well, you haven't talked to yourself in forever.
Can you say like you're lazy, tired, busy?
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'll just say like, yeah, I'm just not in the mood to journal today, so I'm not going to journal. That's my journal. The Torah has this in halacha. Every night before we go to sleep, we say Kriyat Shema and we say Vidui and so on. We have accountability and progression. I've just simplified it and given you a book to do it and not an app and not a website. I'm trying to pull you out of that world. I'm trying to get you off of that. I'm actually giving you, I don't know if you've ever seen, this is is that what it's called? Pen, right? Pen. It's a cool invention. It was created like a while ago, and like you kind of put like one corner to the paper. This is paper, and first you have to press this, but not twice, because then it double clicks. You have to press it once. You hold it with your pointer finger, and like it does this. It like writes the whole thing. I don't know if you've seen it. If you have it in developed countries, mostly in undeveloped, you write without your phone, same time every day. You're accountable. You're holding yourself accountable, and it's the sweetest time in the world because your life becomes a beautiful project. You know what I mean? Like your life becomes a project. You don't need to. I know Rav Yitzchak Kutner was the Rosh Yeshiva of Chaim Berlin. He would kind of like laugh at people that like always needed to travel with a book. Like always needed to learn with a book. And he would say, you don't have enough things to think about by yourself. There's nothing going on in here. You got to learn something. You need a book. When you're on a bus, like in Israel, you're on a bus, you take a bus, you need a book, shiur. Why? You don't have any questions or thoughts or things you want to work out in your mind about relationship with Hashem, yourself. I don't know, whatever it is. You turn into a project. That's what we want to accomplish here. So all I've done is simplified it and given you no excuse. Now, if you don't do it, there's nothing more I could do, essentially. All right? Okay. I'd be happy to take any more questions.
I have
No?
a question.
Yes, for sure.
Regarding like a morning routine, I feel like that's such an important skill, kind of project to master.
Right.
If someone like doesn't have, and I think it's so important, if someone like wants to work on that and like creating a schedule just
Right.
for the morning, I'm not
Right.
even thinking about the whole day.
Right.
Like,
Right.
how does one go about that?
That's a great question. Obviously, I don't have the answer to everything all the time, but I could tell you what works for me. I
Sure.
get mentally ready the night before. Like I
Okay.
knew that I had a busy day on Sunday, so I was getting ready on Friday for Saturday night. Like, okay, you need to go to sleep early, and there's every excuse not to go to sleep early. Go to sleep early, and I know I have to wake up, and I have my alarm clock waiting for me, and I have my commitments already waiting for me. Can't be late. So the game starts the night before. And you have your calendar set up. After a few weeks, you will hit your goals on your calendar of waking up at the right time and so on and so forth. So it's a night before game. Night before, when am I going to sleep? When am I waking up? When is my alarm clock? What am I doing when I wake up? Realistic times. Like if you need an hour to get out of the house, that's totally fine. That could be between brushing your teeth and getting into the car. It might take you an hour, no problem. So just schedule your day as such. Don't say I'm getting up at 6 o'clock and I'm getting into the car at 6:15. No, I'm getting up at 6 o'clock and I'm getting into the car at 7. Okay, great. Nothing wrong with getting in the car at 7. Great, as long as it fits into your day. You know what I'm saying? Get that. I'm a coffee fanatic. That's my thing. I like to like grind my coffee in the morning. It's like my routine. I allocate time for that. And then, fit that into my schedule. And after a few weeks, you'll end up being able to keep up with it. All right.
Thanks.
Okay. Amazing, guys. God willing, there's other Shem. Let's try and keep this going at least during the month of Elul. And I would love to have another class next week if we're into it. And tell me how it goes. You guys were all on WhatsApp connected, so you can definitely keep me posted. As I said, Rebecca is setting up accountability partners. That's a great start.
Regarding the Montreal group, I messaged the ones that voted. So like I gave you guys accountability partners, and if anyone didn't, like from the Sunday group, you can message me. And I'm happy to do that. It's very, very helpful. Just keeps you guys accountable to each other.
Accountable. All right, guys, let's do it. Let's accomplish. Let's live the life that we want to live.
So are we supposed to reach out to them if we already got them?
Yeah. So you know your accountability partner, and she knows her accountability partner as well. So you could start reaching out to each other.
Can I be added to the Montreal list, please?
You could message me. Are you on the Sunday group?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just posted. So my number's there.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a way
Sure.
to do this, like, or we just reach out to each other, or is there like a structure to how we're supposed to do this, or no? We just reach out?